Hello, friends, and welcome back to the podcast. So, today we have a very juicy topic to chat about, and that is the app Noom. Now, I have been seeing ads for this everywhere. I don't know if you guys are seeing it too, but from, posting about it on my Instagram and talking to my friends about it, everybody seems very interested to hear my thoughts on this app. Now, when I first saw ads for this, I was very hopeful because it sounds like they're promoting what I promote when it comes to nutrition and weight loss, to mend your relationship with food, to not do these severe like restrictive diets. You don't have to cut out any foods. There's no good foods, no bad foods, all of this stuff. So they claim that it is a non-diet diet, and they use psychology and all of these things, and it's supposed to be amazing. And I was like, you know what, that sounds promising. And if that is actually what's happening in this world, if we're actually seeing fad diets go more towards the side of, creating a better relationship with food and getting away from all the restrictiveness, then that is amazing. So I decided to download the app and see what the heck they were all about. So yesterday, I downloaded the app and I went through the first 3 weeks of training. Now I did something a little sneaky here. So I actually just changed my phone settings to manual for the date, and I just kept on changing the date so I could go through the first 3 weeks of trainings in there. So if you ever need to do something like that, you can do that. And I took screenshots of all of the trainings that I thought were relevant and everything that I wanted to talk about. So yeah, there's a lot to dive into here. And I think I just had to pay $1 for like the free trial type of thing. And then I think it was like $127 for 2 months, something like that. So it's not a cheap app. You definitely do need to pay for it to use it. And they've got a ton of information and trainings and stuff in there. So what I wanted to do today is go through what isn't so great about it, what I would change about it to make it better, and then what is actually pretty okay. So first, let's talk about what is not so great about this app. So the very first thing that I noticed, so when you first sign up, you have to go through about a 10-15 minute questionnaire with a lot of questions. There are a lot of questions. Like, they ask you a lot of things about your lifestyle, about your mindset when it comes to things, your relationship with food, all of that stuff. And while I'm answering all of these questions, it keeps showing me the date that I'm going to lose my weight by. So when I first signed up, I set myself up as 155 pounds, which is what I am, 5'4", and my goal weight was 138 pounds. So to lose about 20 pounds. And I think initially it set me at like 3 months to lose that. And then as I answered this questionnaire, it started to set my date back even further. And by the end, it set my date to like February 14th or something, like right in the middle of February, which would mean it would be 2 months to lose 20 pounds. Okay, so already that was my first red flag. That is a very, very fast time frame to lose that amount of weight. And I'm going to quickly go through, all of the things that I didn't think were right about this. And then I will go through each one individually and explain why it's not so great. And I just remembered that I did not go through any personal or business stuff with you guys. So we might do that at the end if we have time. I got a lot to say on this topic. So we're getting right into it today. So first of all, I go through that questionnaire, and every time I answer a few questions, it keeps sending that date back, because if like if I already work out, then I can do this faster. If I'm already meditate, then I can do this faster. If I'm good at sticking to tasks that I set for myself, then I can do this faster. So already they're continuing with the marketing. They're continuing with selling you by showing you, oh, look, you can make your date even shorter and shorter and shorter. So again, this is This is a marketing scheme, just trying to get you to do the thing. And okay, so first red flag, way too fast weight loss. Okay. Second red flag. Now, I didn't even get to see my calories until the second day in the app. And I think unless I started tracking my food. So yeah, they make you track your food. They make you weigh yourself every single day. Again, those are two. I mean, tracking your food can be helpful. I do use that with some of my clients, but you don't need to do that right away. There's so many things to talk about here. I'm trying to not go into what I want to go into later. Okay, so they make you track your food. They make you weigh yourself every single day. You don't need to weigh yourself every single day. That's a lot. That's a lot. So yeah, those are all red flags right off the bat, like on the very first day. So too fast of weight loss. They set your calories way too low. So my calories, they set at 1,200 calories. That is very unreasonable and not sustainable. Yes, it's going to get you results, which is why they do it, because then they can see, oh, look, I lost the weight in the time that they said I would. And then they can continue promoting their app where, it's not healthy to lose that amount of weight that fast. It's very not healthy to only be eating 1,200 calories in a day, even if it's just for like short term, like 2 months or whatever. Yeah, not great. And then as you go further into the app, they start teaching you things about nutrition. And another thing that I am not super happy with that they are doing in there is labeling foods as green foods, yellow foods, and red foods. So the green foods are foods that you can eat 35% of the time. The yellow foods you can eat 45% of the time. The red foods 25% of the time. And you know what? All in all, this isn't super bad, but it's more so just you don't want to be labeling foods. I know they really try to tell you that they're not good foods and they're not bad foods. They're just green, yellow, and red, but our brains are still going to interpret that as good, okay, and bad. So I'm not a huge fan of that. And okay, we got 2 more here. It's very low fat with all of the targets that they give you and their recipes that they have. It's very just focused on protein and vegetables, which yes, are important, but they are missing out on how important carbs and fats are. And of course, to hit such low calories, you can pretty much only eat protein and vegetables. And then to the 6th point, most of their tips that they're giving in here and their psychology tips have to do with curbing your hunger and making your meals as filling as possible and timing your meals so that you're never feeling super, super hungry, which, I mean, there's good and bad in there. A lot of it is just typical diet culture and diet mindset. And how can I go this long without feeling absolutely ravenous and just yeah, pretty much a lot of things that I would be doing on a bodybuilding diet when I am very low calories, which is not what most people should be doing when they're trying to get healthy and lose weight and do a sustainable diet, right? Bodybuilding dieting is very different from what people should be doing for a lifestyle change. Bodybuilding dieting is short term. You're trying to lose this amount of weight for a specific date, and the end goal is never to stay there. The end goal is always to go into an off season and gain back that weight purposefully to put on more muscle. So it's done very, very differently than what people should be doing for lifestyle changes, right? Just to lose weight and keep it off is a very, very different way to go about things than you would for bodybuilding dieting. Okay, let's go through each of these individually, and I will explain why it is not a good approach to go about things. Okay, so first of all, let's go through the fast weight loss. So trying to lose 20 pounds in 2 months. Now, a healthy rate of fat loss or weight loss is going to be about 1 to 3% of your body weight per month. If you want like a really rough estimate, 1 to 2 pounds a week, half a pound to 1 pound a week is a good place to be, just to make it easy. But if we're going to use the 1 to 3%, let me use myself as an example. I did the math ahead of time. So, so I weigh 155 pounds. And if my goal is to lose about 20 pounds to get down to like 135, 138, somewhere around there, if I was going by 1% per month, that would take me to a full year to lose that weight. Now, that is a very, very slow approach, but totally healthy, totally maintainable, and pretty darn easy to do. However, I personally would probably take it a little bit faster than that, because I believe that puts me at maybe like 1.5 pounds a month. And that's pretty slow. We don't need to go quite that slow, but that is the low end. So the higher end, 3% per month, would put me at about 4 to 5 months to lose that amount of weight. And that would be 4.5 pounds a month. So roughly a pound a week. And that is very, very sustainable. That is a fairly easy weight loss to sustain. And honestly, when you're losing weight at that rate, at the beginning, it feels slow, but once you've been doing it for a little bit, and especially because your calories are not super low, it's very easy to maintain when you're losing just a pound a week. But it adds up quickly. When you look back after a couple of months and you've already lost 10, 15, 20 pounds, and you're like, okay, you know what? We've actually made some progress, and it hasn't been terrible. So I've done quite a few bodybuilding preps in my life. They've all been quite different. But the most recent one I did right before COVID was using this approach, was going at a very, very slow rate. So it was about 1 pound a week. And when I did it this way, it was much healthier, much longer, and much more sustainable. And I was preserving my muscle mass. The first 2 shows I did, we had to do it a lot faster because I didn't give myself enough time. But, you know, as you do things, you learn more and more each time. So this past bodybuilding prep that I did was supposed to be 7 months long. We ended up only getting through the first 5 months, but I was able to lose, I can't remember if it was 20 or 25 pounds in the first 5 months. So that is within the healthy range. I was losing about a pound a week. And for the first few months, I was still eating 1,900 calories a day. Okay. And that will lead me to my next point here, which I will go over how much you actually need to cut from your calories to lose weight. It is not as much as you think it may be. Now, think about that. Noom set me at 1,200 calories, whereas when I did this myself with my bodybuilding coach, with somebody who knows nutrition and knows what they're doing, that is a difference of 700 calories in a day. That's like 2 full meals more that I was eating in order to sustain weight loss. So you do not need to eat only 1,200 calories a day to lose weight. That is absolutely insane. Now, just for context, I am going to go through a quick list I have of the side effects of eating too few calories. So what I do with my clients is we go for weight loss at the highest calories we can have you at while still maintaining losing weight. Okay, that is the healthiest way to approach it. And it's going to be a little bit different for each person, but most people are not going to go lower than 1,700 or 1,800 calories a day in order to lose weight. So we try to keep the calories as high as possible while still losing weight. And this is why, because of all of these side effects from not eating enough food and having too low of calories, and anywhere from like 1,200 to 1,500 calories or even lower is going to get you in this range of a very unhealthy, low amount of calories. So, ready for this? Let me know if you resonate with any of these, because I know quite a few of you have gone through very restrictive diets and you may have experienced these in the past. So, ready? Number 1, It's going to lower your metabolism. This is a huge one and a reason, big reason why we don't want to do this. So when you lower your metabolism, that means that your body is burning less calories in a day than it would if you were eating, a normal amount of food. So when you try to come back to normal eating after dieting, now your body is used to burning way less calories. So you won't be able to eat as many calories as you were before unless you do a reverse diet and slowly build back up your calories to a normal, healthy point. And this will probably take as long as it took you to lose the weight. And if you don't do this, if you don't reverse diet and slowly build your calories back up and build your metabolism back up, you will gain the weight basically immediately. And this is what happened to me with pretty much all of my bodybuilding shows. I have never successfully done a reverse diet, which is okay to me. I don't mind going back to my normal body weight right after a bodybuilding show. I genuinely expect it to happen. But so what happened with me is at the end of my bodybuilding prep, my calories are going to be quite a bit lower because we slowly decrease them as the time goes on. And I am getting into an unhealthy, unsustainable body weight. So we are purposefully making things a lot lower than what anybody else should be doing, specifically just for bodybuilding. So my body's getting very low calories and my body fat is very low. So when I go back to eating regular food, this is what happened with my last show. So I was at like 125 pounds, right? And then within 1 month of just eating normal, there was quite a bit of binging in there, I have to admit, because my body needed food. And it was just like, what have you done to me? Again, this is very normal coming off of a diet, especially severe diets. So I gained back, I think 25 or 30 pounds within the first month. Okay. Just because I did not slowly reverse back to where I wanted to be. And this is a huge problem with restrictive diets that put you at very low calories, is that there is no game plan for getting back into a normal life. And either you have to maintain at these incredibly low calories, or you try to go back to normal eating and you put back on all of the weight that you lost plus some in a very short amount of time. Now, I do not know if Noom has a reverse diet program after you've lost the weight. I'm assuming they probably don't, because that is not a very common thing. If you have gone through a full weight loss with Noom and you do know if they do a reverse back, please let me know. But that's why you don't want to diet on super low calories. If you're just dieting on like 1,800 calories, it's very easy to build yourself back up to the normal 22, 23, 24, 2,500 calories that you should be eating in a day, rather than going all the way from 1,200 and trying to practically double the amount of calories that you should be eating in a day. So much easier to go back to normal life when you've done a sustainable diet. Okay. So I've got a few more here. That one I did have to speak about a little bit more because there's just a lot to that one. Okay. So metabolism is going to be kaput when you're dieting on super low calories, and super low calories is anywhere from 1,200 to 1,500 or less. Okay. If you're eating that many calories consistently, you can expect a lot of these things to happen. It's going to mess with your hormones, which are going to cause a lot of things to go wrong. It can cause hair loss. It can cause loss of your period. It can cause irritability, hunger. That's a big one. You're going to be hungry all the time. Your body's not going to get enough nutrients, which is going to shut down a lot of the systems that are going on in your body, like growing your nails, having nice skin. All of these things are not going to be prioritized when your body is such low calories, because your body's like, okay, we need to focus on the most important things, like keeping you alive. You're going to suffer muscle loss. So if you're trying to work out at the gym and build some muscle and grow like a really nice shape of your body, it's going to be very difficult to build muscle and to hold on to that muscle when you're eating such low calories. Again, it's going to slow down your metabolism. I have that in there twice because that is very important. We do not want that to happen. What else we got here? Low energy. That is a huge one. And honestly, a lot of these things that I am listing are reasons why people come to me to work on their nutrition, is because they want to feel better. They don't want to feel all of these things anymore. And low energy is a huge one. And honestly, most of the time, it's because people are perpetually dieting, or they've dieted so many times in their life that their metabolism is just so low that they're eating so few calories, and their body's just really not prioritizing all of these things. So it's crazy how these are the things that people want to fix when they try to work on their nutrition. But so many of the fad diets out there are what's causing all of these things to happen. It's so backwards and so frustrating. So I'm hoping that this can reach a lot of people, and please share this so that more people learn that this is not the way. It's not the way to do things. Okay. So let me continue here. We've got extreme fatigue. So same as low energy, but sometimes it can be even more extreme. Can suffer from poor immune function. I've noticed, I have seen some friends in the past who just get sick all of the time. I almost never get sick, maybe once every year or two. If you're getting sick super often, it could be because you're not eating enough food, or you're not prioritizing your nutrition and getting in lots of vitamins and minerals and enough fat and protein and carbs in your diet. That could be a big reason why you're getting sick all of the time. So that might be something to keep in mind. You can have weak, brittle bones. That is not something that we want, and it's not necessarily something that you see happening, but can definitely happen in the future as you age. You do not want to be worried about breaking bones, right? It can cause gallstones, can cause muscle cramps, can cause dizziness, constipation, diarrhea, dehydration, feeling cold all the time. So yeah, that was a very long list. Those are all the side effects from not eating enough calories in a day. And if you have ever experienced a few of these, take a look at what you've been doing with your diet. And if you're not eating enough food, there is a very good reason that is behind this. And if you do start eating closer to your maintenance and how many calories you should be eating in a day, then all of these may start to slowly fade away. Okay. I've seen this happen with a lot of my clients. And one thing Kim mentioned, if you heard her interview with me last week, she forgot to mention that one of the things that changed from working on her nutrition is she used to get migraines all of the time. And in this past year, I believe she said she's only had like 3 migraines, which is insane. Like how much nutrition and eating more food can change things that are happening in your health, in your life, like all of the things. And another point on these severely restrictive diets is they are not sustainable, and they are very, very difficult to come back from. And this is why we go through these yo-yo diets of dieting super, super hard. And then when you try to go back to normal life, you gain back all of that weight plus some, and it just keeps building and building and building. And eventually we're just like, what the heck? If I didn't diet in the first place, I probably would have been fine, and I probably wouldn't have gained any of this weight at all. And yes, that is true, but it doesn't mean you can't fix it. So you can. It's just a matter of reverse dieting, getting yourself to a healthy, sustainable set calories. Okay, so we want to get you to your maintenance calories. We want to chill there for a bit. We want your body to get used to being like at its optimal and functioning as it should be. And then after you've been there for maybe a few months, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, if you still want to do a healthy weight loss, then you can. But you do need to give your body time to get back up to its maintenance calories and be able to really fully function as it should be. So yeah, these are just restrictive diets, not sustainable. And they often lead to binging and lots of cravings. They take very high effort and a lot of willpower and focus and planning. And it just takes a lot of work to sustain these. And you're not learning normal eating patterns. You are learning pretty much disordered eating patterns when you're eating such low calories and you're always thinking about how many calories is in this. Is this a good food? Is this a bad food? How can I make sure that I can eat as much lettuce as I possibly can to fill up my stomach so that I'm not hungry later? And these things are just not helpful. These are not good mindsets to be in when it comes to food. Okay. So all of that was for basically my first point, is that the calories are way too low and it is way too fast of fat loss. So we've talked about the numbers when it comes to how much weight is a healthy weight to be losing. And I will now talk on how you do that. Okay. So we're going to go into a little bit of math here again. So 1 pound of fat is about 3,500 calories. Okay. So what that means is if you divide that over 7 days in a week, that's 500 calories a day that you would burn over a week in order to lose 1 pound of fat. So that is kind of the general guidelines when it comes to losing weight. Now, most women should be eating at least 2,000 calories and sometimes even upwards of 2,500 plus calories a day. And this is any woman, despite how tiny you are. Okay. You can eat this much food, especially if you are active, if you work out at the gym, if you are working on building some muscle mass, you will need even more. Okay. So if you are eating, let's say 2,250 roughly, that's just going to be pretty average. If you're eating about 2,250 calories a day and you want to lose a pound a week, you would drop that down by 500 to about 1,750. Now, if you were eating 1,750 calories a day, you would be losing about a pound a week. And I know that doesn't sound very low to some of you, and I know some of you probably don't even eat that much in a day, which again is why we want you to reverse diet until you are in this range of 20 something hundred calories a day in the 2000s. Okay. We want you to at least be in the 2000s, and you can do this without gaining weight. It's just a matter of doing it slowly, adding in 50 to 100 calories a day every single week until you make it up there. It takes some time, takes some dedication, but it makes a huge difference. You'll feel so much better. And then you can actually go forth with weight loss in a much, much healthier way. Okay. So now, what's also interesting here is if you are not somebody who works out regularly, or you're just starting to get into a workout routine, or you're starting to get more active in a day, you probably don't need to do 500 calories from food. You can probably only do maybe 250 or 350 calories from food. So dropping down to 1,850 or like 1,900 calories in a day. And then the remaining deficit, or like the extra of the 500 calories you want to be burning, are going to come from the extra exercise that you're now doing, and that your body's now building muscle mass and all of these things. So you really don't need to drop down your calories very low at all. Never, ever, ever 1,200 calories. That is just too darn low. You're going to work on building up your calories first to mend your metabolism that has gone through too many years of dieting. That should always be your first priority when you want to do weight loss, is make sure that you can get your metabolism functioning at its best. Then when you're there, you can start thinking about weight loss. Okay. And sometimes you may even see weight loss happen while you're doing a reverse diet, or at least body recomposition. So building muscle mass and losing fat at the same time. It doesn't make a difference on the scale, but you'll see it in your body, which is very exciting. And if you're working out at the gym and working on getting stronger, you're going to see this happen. And this is literally what I do with all of my clients. yeah, most of them, we need to work on reverse dieting first and getting all of the basics in place, getting their nutrition good. And then once we're good there, we'll do the healthy weight loss. Okay. So we got so much to talk about today. That was only the first 2 points. Okay. So the third one is that they encourage, or Noom encourages you to weigh yourself every single day. And I believe they are doing this to have an easy way for them to keep track of your progress and be able to say, like, hey, they did this, they lost X amount of weight. It's data gathering for them. And they really do try to tell you all the different reasons why the scale could fluctuate, which is good. I mean, you definitely want to know that the number on the scale does not determine your progress. So I do appreciate that they do that. But it's not just about knowing that, it's about the action that you're doing too. And if you are looking at the scale every single day, that action is just kind of reinforcing the thought that you need to see this number every day and this number means something to you. I prefer to use progress photos as a way to determine, the progress that you're making. I will use weight on the scale just if we're doing like a very specific reverse diet, just to make sure we're not moving too fast and that your body isn't going to be gaining weight, because that's how you can tell when you're done a reverse diet, when you're at your maintenance calories that you should be at, is when your weight starts to increase. That's when you want to just chill out and leave the calories where they are. So that is when I will use that. But I never get them to weigh daily. If anything, it's either weekly or monthly. It's the scale is I feel like it's got a lot of baggage with it for a lot of people. There's definitely a lot to unpack there. And I really don't think weighing yourself every single day is going to improve on that. But I mean, I do appreciate that they do try to let you know everything that's going on with scale and the reasons why it goes up, reason why it goes down, and not to rely on it solely as an indicator for progress. So I do appreciate that, but again, it shouldn't be enforced and every single day. It's like the first habit that they want you to work on is weighing yourself every day. That's a bit concerning. Then we've got the labeling foods as green, yellow, and red, which I understand that they are trying to teach you which foods are more nutritionally dense than others. And they're saying that you can still eat the red foods that aren't as nutritionally dense, like 25% of the time, which I do like that thought behind it. Like most of your diet should consist of nutritionally dense foods, whole foods, and then some of the time, like my rule is the 80-20 rule. So 80% of the time you eat healthy whole foods, and then 20% of the time you have your treat foods. So you're allowing yourself to have those fun foods purely just for enjoyment. And I do appreciate that. I feel like it's more of the classification of foods as either green, yellow, or red, because I don't think that's necessarily always the case. And even foods like pasta and like avocado and stuff are part of the yellow foods, which I find so weird. A lot of the foods that have fat in them, they've classified as yellow. So trying to say like you should have some of them, but just make sure you're limiting the amount. And I think even like olive oil and stuff are in red. So that's a bit concerning. They seem to be fairly anti-fat, which you kind of have to be in order to eat such low calories. But yeah, you need fat in your diet. You very much do, especially for your hormone health, for your skin and hair and nails, and like you very much need fat in your diet. And their programs are going to have you way too low on fat, and they're getting you like feeling almost scared of foods that are higher in fat. And it's just, I understand that they want you to just be aware and cautious of how much fat you're using, because yes, it does add up quickly. I just worry that when they classify them as red, yellow, and green in your brain, you're still going to associate that with good, not so good, and bad, even though they say you shouldn't. Like, again, a lot of these things, they really try to reassure you and explain so that you can think about it in a better way. But I feel like the action itself is just reinforcing the negative, unfortunately. So again, a lot of their stuff has good intent behind it. I just feel like they're not approaching it in the best way that they could. And then I already mentioned this, that it's very low fat. You definitely need more fat in your diet than what they are prescribing. And it seems to only focus on protein and veggies as like the foods that you should be making most of your meals with. And they don't even mention how important fat is and how important carbs are, your fibrous carbs. They pretty much just focus on protein and veggies. And that's not going to be filling, and it's not going to fuel you properly for the day. And it's not going to give you all of the nutrients that you need. You're very much missing out on the fats and the carbs. Those are very, very important. And then because of this, most of their tips that they're giving you are how to curb hunger and how to make yourself feel more full off of less food, which is very, 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 very fad diet stuff. Very, very like ingrained things that so many people who have done lots of diets have in their brain, like drinking a glass of water before every meal, or drinking a glass of water when you're hungry instead of eating, or, eating massive salads so that you don't feel hungry, or like counting almonds and only having like 10 almonds for a meal, and saying, like, they have quizzes that are like, which food is going to fill you up more? And it's like an apple, a dried apple, a cup of granola, and like a cup of, I don't remember, something else. And they were all like 100 calories or something. And they said you should pick an apple, but it was like, no, you should pick the one that has a little bit of fat in it and some protein and some carbs, because that will fill you up. An apple will not fill you up. And they're saying because it's got water in it and fiber, it's going to fill you up more. And yes, kind of, but carbs on their own are not going to sit with you very long. You need to have at least a fat or a protein with it in order to sit with you a little bit longer, because especially the fat takes a lot longer to digest. And if you want the snack to last longer, you got to add those in. So they're coming at things from an okay place, but the way they go about it isn't super accurate. And then they go through a lot of food psychology, like using a smaller plate, putting your fork down between bites. What else are there? Keeping like unhealthy foods out of your house and things like this. And again, a lot of those are just reinforcing diet culture, and you don't have to do things like that. Yeah, it's hard for somebody to go in this app and think that because of the marketing and everything that they're saying, that everything that they're teaching is good and everything that they're teaching is going to help them build a better relationship with food. And that's just not the case. Some of it, yes, some of it's okay, but a lot of it really isn't. And it's very difficult to figure out what is what, like what is actually okay and what isn't. And the biggest things are not, like how they set your calories to begin with, and the recipes that they recommend, and the very high focus on basically most of your food being protein or veggies, as much as they like to say that you can still have other things. It feels very, very similar to Weight Watchers and a lot of the other diets and stuff that there are out there. So just I please don't download this app. Listen to my podcast and follow me on Instagram just for some, and start working on building in healthy habits to your nutrition first before you even try doing any kind of weight loss. There's so much more that you need to work on, like listening to your hunger signals, building balanced meals, Those are two very, very big things that you should be working on first before you try doing any type of diet like this. Okay. Don't get Noom. Do not get Noom. It's not going to help you in the long run. Maybe it'll help you short term, but coming off of that, no, it's not going to. I'm sorry. So here's what I would change with Noom to make it a better app that will actually help you. So first of all, setting the calories higher is a big thing. What they should be doing is getting you to track your food for a week or two and see where you normally eat food, how much you normally eat in a day, and then deciding if you should be cutting your calories by about 500 or if you should be doing a reverse diet because you're not eating enough food. This is what I do. Okay. We track your calories, we see where you are, and then we determine what you're going to do from there. Okay. They should be teaching you how to build balanced meals, including fat, fibrous carbs, protein, and veggies, instead of mainly focusing on the protein and veggies. They should really be bumping up how much fat there are in their meals and teaching you how important it is to also include fat in your diet. They should be teaching you how to listen to your hunger signals instead of teaching you how to like suppress them. They should be teaching you to listen to your hunger signals and eat when you're hungry and how to build balanced meals in order to, sit with you longer and to actually fuel you throughout the day. So those are some of the things that I would like to see change in the app that would make it a bit better. And I'd like to see more focus on eating habits rather than on like how much you're eating. I do think it's more important to focus on those first. And once you've kind of built the basics of eating habits, then you can start taking a look more specifically at the calories and if anything needs to change there. So I do have a few things that I actually did like about the app. So they definitely had lots of encouragement and it was very positive. And one of the very first things they said is the biggest determiner of if you're going to succeed is if you believe in yourself. And I really do resonate with that statement. And I truly believe that you need to believe in yourself in order for something to happen. And that's one of the things I feel I do very well with my clients is I believe in them 100%. And I help them see that in themselves and see their true potential and see what they are actually capable of and that they can for sure do this. And we're going to make it custom to them. We're going to make it easy. We're going to make it something that they can actually keep doing for the rest of their life and not have to feel terrible during. That's a super important thing. So I do appreciate that they have a lot of encouragement and it is quite positive, and they genuinely do try to help you build a better relationship with food. They just don't go about it quite the right way. It's good intention behind it. It's just not quite put forth in the best way. It's probably better than a lot of other things out there. But again, you can't give somebody a 1,200 calorie a day diet and expect them to be able to sustain that. I'm sorry. That is, if you didn't do that, it would be okay. That is just, no, I cannot get on board with that. I'm sorry. It's too little. It's too little calories. I do appreciate that they try to help you see food in a different way, that they try to be less focused on the good food, bad food stuff. Again, the way they go about it, not quite the best, but I do appreciate the intention behind it and that they are trying to change diet culture. Again, just freaking 1,200 calories a day. You can't do that. It's not helpful. And they do have good tips on mindful eating, which is really good. Mindful eating is super important. It's a very important eating habit to build. They go a little bit into the hunger scale, which is also good. But they have too many tips on like how to stop being hungry, which no, you want to listen to your hunger. When you are hungry, you should eat. And they have some good tips on like grocery shopping. Some food psychology stuff is important. But overall, I feel like they give you way too much information. Most of this stuff I already know. I've already like heard about through all of my years of learning about nutrition. But I don't think all of it is relevant. And I don't think you need to know all of this stuff. And honestly, I think it's overwhelming, the amount of things that they try to teach you. I know a lot of people come to me and they're like, I want to know everything that you know, but you don't really need to. And it makes things a lot more complicated and a lot more difficult when it comes to making food choices. And food should be easy. Food should just feel good. Food should fuel you, right? So I try to make things much more simple and down to the basics and down to pretty much just what you need to know. All of the other things could be interesting for sure, but the more things like this you know, the more it makes nutrition complicated. And we don't want it to be complicated. We want it to be easy. It's something that we do literally every single day. We do not want to be thinking about all of the dozens of things that could affect what we're eating. And we don't want to be classifying meals as like, oh, this is a very healthy meal. This is a not so healthy meal. Like you can eat in the gray. Everything doesn't have to be super, super healthy. And different things are going to have different aspects to them. Like just because it's a salad doesn't mean it's super, super healthy, or that's the only thing you should be eating all the time. Or just because you're going to a birthday party and there's cake doesn't mean you have to not eat the cake. You can still eat the cake. You can have a balanced diet, and it's not as difficult as places seem to make it seem. And yeah, this just is very overwhelming with the amount of information that they give you on a day-to-day basis. Like it's quite a bit. It is quite a bit. And yeah, not necessary. You don't need to know all of that stuff. If you want to, you can go take a nutrition course or watch some videos on YouTube. I'm sure there are a lot, but yeah, the basics are going to be listening to your hunger signals, learning how to build balanced meals, and allowing yourself to have a bit more freedom when it comes to what you eat and not be so rigidly sticking to things, and allowing yourself treats every once in a while. But yeah, the biggest things, listening to your hunger signals, building balanced meals. I'm always going to preach that. Those are always the main two that you really want to focus on. Everything else is just going to be very nitpicky from there. But if you do want to know more about nutrition and how to start doing all these things for yourself, I mean, for sure, go through all of my trainings. They're going to teach you all of the things. But if you really want more support with that, we do start Transformation Academy January 3rd. So you can 100% still get into that. It's a group of women. So this is a group coaching program where you've got 12 weeks minimum. You can stay longer than 12 weeks if you want. It's a course combined with group coaching. So there's 12 modules in there. You're going to be learning all about nutrition, all about fitness, all about mindset, routines, habits, all of that stuff. You can do it at your own pace so that you're building up the basics first and slowly building from there. And again, it is self-paced. So you go at your own speed. And then so those trainings you'll do on your own. And then during the week, every single week, we'll have group coaching calls. So there will be nutrition specific calls, fitness specific calls / program design. So we'll be designing your programs together. And then we'll have like just general coaching calls where we go over mindset, kind of life coaching stuff, routines, habits, all of that stuff. So every week you'll sign up for whichever call / calls you want to come on to based on whatever's going on in your life. If you're really struggling with nutrition and you're like, I need help here, I need you to help me like come up with some meal plans for the week. I need you to take a look at my nutrition and help me see like, what is it that I need to change? Does this look okay? Or, I'm going away on a vacation next week. How the heck do I figure out nutrition for this? Anything like that. We'll chat about it on the group coaching calls with nutrition. On the fitness calls, we'll go over, usually they will be designing your workout program. So I have a separate course, Program Design 101, where I teach you everything about designing workouts, and we make it super, super simple and like an easy to follow step-by-step list. So you guys will come up with your workout plans, and then you'll bring them onto the call together, and we'll go through them together, and I will make adjustments for you. I'll make sure that they're actually helping you get towards your goals. And together we're going to be learning how to build the programs together. And Yeah, and then we'll have like extra questions if you want on anything else to do with fitness. And then we'll also have the group coaching calls for the general stuff. There's a lot of group coaching going on in here. So any kind of support you need, you will find it in this group. It's total health. So yeah, everything, nutrition, fitness, mindset, all of the stuff, total health. So you'll be feeling like a completely new person by the end of it. And you'll have learned so many things and started so many new habits, and you'll be living a completely different life and feeling completely different in your body by the end, which is very, very exciting and a really cool transformation to see. So yeah, we start that January 3rd. If you want to get in, make sure you fill out the application. I will leave it in the show notes here so you can find that there. And yeah, fill out the application, book yourself a call with me. We'll chat, we'll figure out if it's a good fit, if you will be a good addition to the group, which I'm sure you will. And yeah, then we'll figure out what plan's going to work for you. There are payment plans available after the first 12 weeks. If you want to stay on longer, it's turns over to a subscription, a monthly subscription, and it is at a discounted rate because you have done the first 12 weeks. You can upgrade to getting more private coaching. There's 2 tiers there. The first one is 1 extra call with me a month. Second one is 2. And you also get private chat with me in my chatting app. Whereas with the regular, just general group coaching, you get access to the group coaching app texting. Yeah, there's a lot going on in here. I'm very excited. It's been like a year in the making of me trial and error, learning what works best for people. And yeah, just really fine tuning my coaching and making sure that we get the best program possible for you. So that is Transformation Academy. We start January 3rd, and I would love to have you in there. So yeah, make sure you fill out the application below in the show notes and book yourself a call, and we will chat soon. Okay, I will see you guys next week. We will be talking about how to get through the holidays nutrition wise. Okay, it's not as scary as you might think. Okay, so let's get you feeling good for the holidays next week. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. Goodbye.